forests, deserts, rivers, a teenager's laundry pile. All of these are examples of the remarkable diversity of unique ecosystems on planet Earth. I'm Sasha, a self-proclaimed biology fairy, and in this masterpiece I will guide you through two of the strangest ecosystems, entirely subjective, you've ever seen, unless of course you have seen them, in which case you're welcome to take my place. Poking around in interesting places with a DNA sequencer and a microscope can introduce us to interesting species, which have somehow managed to establish themselves somewhere nothing else could. And, thanks to moral ambiguity, we humans can experimentally, fuck up their conditions to see what we can learn about the possibilities of life on Earth. So, first up, hydrothermal vents. Hydrothermal vents are the ocean's version of a self-care mineral jacuzzi. They form along mid-oceanic ridges where seawater enters gaps in the Earth's crust, heats up, dissolves the minerals, rises, cools, takes an architecture class, and forms mineral crystal deposits like these. But before you book your next submarine trip 2,000 meters down into the ocean to try some of these bath salts for yourself, do consider their immense toxicity. I don't want to get sued. Now, it wouldn't be an ecosystem without some inhabitants. But, Sasha, didn't you just say it's really toxic? Well, are you a bacterium? An archaeon, maybe? No, Patrick, you are not. Those are the types of extremophile microorganisms that can survive there. Not everything is about you. They convert energy through, wait for it, chemosynthesis, like plants do with photosynthesis, in literally 99% of other ecosystems from, you guessed it, vintage photographs. The energy from those autotrophs can then be used by the other endemic vent inhabitants like worms, and just like that, a functional ecosystem is born. The second crazy place on Earth I wanted to introduce you to today is Pitch Lake of Trinidad and Tobago. Pitch Lake is the largest deposit of bitumen, the scientific word for liquid road, in the world, fitting about 10 tons, which, for ease of visualization, is the same as 2 billion ants, or about 0.66 recurring Big Bens. It looks like this, and puzzles chemists, biologists, and geologists alike. The only people it doesn't puzzle is computer scientists, because I can't imagine them caring about lakes in the Caribbean. You must by now be dying to know, how did that lake get there? Was it brought in by a stork, perhaps? Well, the suspected scientific explanation for Pitch Lake is related to deep faults on subduction of the South American tectonic plate under the Caribbean one. This tapped into a large oil and gas reserve, which I imagine happened as follows.
Ooh.
The lighter fractions of the oil evaporate under the consistently toasty 30 degrees heat and leave behind the heavier bitumen. Unlike the hydrothermal vents, there is surprisingly little research done on what actually lives in the lake though, other than the water there being literally holy. At least if you're a guppy praying not to get infected by skin parasites. They don't survive well in the lake. I mean, who would? It's literally thick black gel. And so infected guppies are miraculously healed if transported there. That, and the unlimited potential for road building, is probably the greatest offering this lake can make to Trinidad and Tobago. And there you have it, my top 2 strangest ecosystems. The end.